Welcome in, everybody that's listening. This is the Unlocked Life podcast, and today I have Ashur. Ashur is very close to my heart, especially this past 3 months, because I invited him on as a guest facilitator for the women who are working in my group program space. It's been unbelievable, and it was exactly what I had hoped for following the first time I met you, Ashur, which was in El Salvador in November, and I heavily documented it on Instagram. So people who have been following me for a while will know that I was out there, and it changed my life for so many different ways. And you were a big piece of that. Hence why I wanted to bring you into the work that I do here at home with the women in my space. Um, so yeah, welcome in. Thank you for saying yes. I think now would be a really nice time for, I guess, people who are listening to get a little idea of what it is that you actually do work wise, with groups, and also, yeah, what you're currently doing in work.
Well, it's the byproduct of 35 years of living life through this body. Um, yeah, so I primarily work as a connection coach. And so what that means is I help people, or I invite people into greater connection with themselves so you can authentically be in connection with the world around you. And this results in just like feeling more alive, feeling less exhausted, feeling more connected, feeling present at every moment in your life rather than like a passive participant. You know that the goals you're chasing are your goals, not the programming of someone else.
Mm,
It's like pretty much feeling great in your life by being in connection with whatever this individual vessel or that individual vessel desires and wants. And that's taken lots of different shapes. So I really like teaching embodiment through contact improv dance, teaching people
yeah,
boundaries by actually
yeah.
engaging with the physical boundaries of your body in connection with another
Mm,
person, often a
mhm.
stranger. So for those people who don't know, it's an improvised form of physical contact dance with a stranger.
Yeah.
And most of the people I work
It's
with are not necessarily
wild.
dancers. Yeah. Um, Yeah, I also do a lot of authentic relating groups. So I'll take groups of people and I'll engage in a variety of authentic relating activities.
Mhm.
So I work with groups, and then on the connection coaching side, I see individuals. So I actually have been working with a lot of couples, been navigating communication. How do I fully be in connection with me so I can express to you
Mhm.
what it's like to be me? And then I hold a space where the other person can hear it. So that's kind of the connection coaching side. And then just to mention, I'm really excited. I'm launching a group program called the Life Blueprint System, where basically I ask people, what is it that you desire? What do you want in
Mhm.
your life? And what's stopping you right now? And then we
Yeah.
investigate the merit of those obstacles. Some people might stop because they're like, programming because they're afraid someone won't receive it well, and we see if those obstacles have merit or if they don't, or if they're just story. But yeah, this is also after my background's in neuroscience and philosophy, and I was a
I
high
actually
school
didn't
teacher
know
for many
that.
years,
That's mad. I didn't know that
and
about you.
I work as a neurofeedback therapist. So I train people's brains actually using a neurofeedback device. And so
Wow.
it's seeking greater brain regulation. Some people would
Yeah.
assert that anything that you would treat with a pharmaceutical is a result of dysregulated brain waves. So instead of using a pharmacological intervention, you use direct regulation of brain waves.
Yeah. And
So that's
oh,
kind of my background. And I really like scuba diving and swimming
yeah.
and being in nature and dancing.
Yeah, we need to get an idea of you as well, not just what you do, but the actual individual. And we'll definitely get into that because that's one of my favorite things in this podcast to go into is yes, there's going to be guests on here and they are specialists in whatever field, but the whole idea is the unlocked life. How did you unlock yourself to get to where you are now? Like, what was your passage? But also, of course, how do you help other people too? And oh, so many things. I think, I spoke to a lot of people whenever I came back from El Salvador about the improv contact dance, about the circling activities and things like that. So I would love to get a little bit more into that and then also move into the unlocked life part. Um, but yeah, so I'll share, I guess, how our first encounter, one of our first encounters, to give people a little bit of context on, how you practically work with people, or what is the context? So I had gone over to El Salvador, and of course there's a big group of us, and um I started feeling a particular way about someone in the group. I noticed I had emotions, I had feelings for someone. And I also was noticing, okay, this is reciprocated. And there is something about whenever I am one to one with this person, it doesn't feel good. I was getting like just these feelings of like, confusion. Like, am I making this up? Do they like me? Do I feel this way? Or, it was very strange to me because I guess it has been a while since I had met someone that I did um feel attracted to, honestly. So whenever I was over there, I was like, yeah, I feel great. This is awesome. And then the story, as you call it, or the triggers or the like weird sticky stuff around, I suppose, self-worth or feeling really good in yourself in relation to other people started to come up. And I remember I was,
Well, I actually just want to even pause right there, just to
yeah,
like, as you're recalling it, I'm recalling exactly the situation, and like, and I just want to pause with like anyone who's listening to or will watch later. How many times do we have the experience where like, let me just say, it feels really good to be liked.
yeah,
Like, no matter who's liking you, whether
yeah.
it's reciprocated, whether it's not, whether you've known them for years or whether you just met them, it feels really good to be liked. And to be carried away with that like experience of being liked is very common. And
Mm,
that's when like Maria, as you're describing it, I'm literally like, yeah, you lost track of you
yeah,
because someone's like of you is so intoxicatingly strong.
yeah.
And I just want to say, like, yes, yes. Happens to me, happens to everyone. Like if someone likes me, I'm like, oh, maybe I do like them. Yeah, I must like them. They like me. So like, and I just want to like pause and just honor that for
Mm,
you and for anyone that's listening. Like, yeah, it feels really good to be liked. Savor
hmm
it, enjoy it, and then slow down and take account of
hmm
what it's like being liked.
Completely. And thank God you were there, Asher, because I remember I was in the kitchen one morning and you had come in and you were like, "Hey, Maria, how are you?" And I knew rightly, I was like, when Asher asks you how you are, he means it. He wants to know how you are. And I think where I come from anyway, it's so normal for us to be like, great, good, go on. There's pleasantries really disguise and shield us for most of the time. But yeah, I just knew I was like, I'm okay. You're so good at your job. You were like, uh-huh, okay. My feeling is there's something more to this, but we're in the kitchen and anybody can walk in here. Do you want to go and have a conversation somewhere more private? And I was like, yeah, we do. And so we went up, we found a little space, and it doesn't take long for me to cry. Like I cry instantly, which I really like that about myself because it helps me regulate massively. And I remember crying and crying and crying and being confused with why do I feel so emotional and upset about this? Bear in mind, it had only been a few days, but it felt really intense in my body, all of the different emotions. And I remember you saying to me, this is actually not about that person. This is not about that person. This is about something bigger, something that's been here a while. And yeah, I remember you really bringing my attention to this idea of it feels like you're lost, doesn't it? And I was like, yeah, it feels like I've lost myself. I think you get so used, especially as a single person, especially if you work with someone, which I do, around patterns and stories and childhood limiting beliefs and all of the things that you're working with in your program as well. And yet, when you are then faced with other people and new emotions and all of that, it just is a whole other realm that you can't really delve into on your own. Would you say that's right?
Say that the capacity and the necessity for humans to have co-regulation
Mm,
is like absolutely essential. I mean, this gets really philosophical really quickly and we don't have to dive into it, but like I tend to believe that like the base agreement that we make with each other is, Maria, you confirm for me and you validate that I exist, and I will confirm and validate for you that you exist.
Mm,
And so, like, when something knocks us up, like when you're having a big experience, there's nothing that will replace a human coming and giving you container for it, giving you just boundedness. It's like, oh, okay, I'm having a feeling, and that's okay to have a feeling. I'm safe. Like, it's not that I'm going to float untethered, like,
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Um, and it's the like just the experience that you're describing in El Salvador is the same experience that people have when I do this embodiment workshop with contact dance. I do one like blindfolded dance. Well, I do many, but like one of them is person with their eyes closed is the one leading, and the person with their eyes open is the one
Hmm.
providing the container. And that person with their eyes closed gets to go wherever they want.
I remember
And
this.
the
Yeah.
person with the eyes open, yeah, the person with the eyes open just creates a container.
Yeah.
And people would be like, I'm not going to close my eyes with a stranger. And the reality is, having that person touch you to create the boundary is actually the safest
Mm,
part of that. It's like, oh my God, I have boundedness, I have container. People
yeah.
think of boundaries as keeping things out. And a lot of times, boundaries is about actually giving us an understanding of where we are in space.
Yeah. I've never thought of
Like, oh,
boundaries
actually,
that way.
yeah, actually, I won't do that because that pushes up against where I'm willing to go,
Hmm.
not where I'm willing to let you go.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so,
Yeah. And
yeah, you are having all sorts of experience. I didn't need to know any of the context, who it was, any
yeah.
of the details. None of the gossip is important to me. I just see you having experience, and I can provide a container for it,
Yeah. And it was perfect.
allow you to push it for it. Yeah.
And I remember after that session, I mean, it had nothing to do, we didn't go into that, as you say, the context, the situation, the people, none of that really mattered. It was about me and what I was feeling. And that I remember the main thing that you helped me work through was this idea of, yes, when we come into relation with other people, uh, or when we're relating to other people, how can we still remain with ourselves? And yeah, this was like a new feeling. And I was like, "Ugh!" You just tend to lose grip of yourself, I guess, and then start looking around and what's going on and what are they thinking. And as you say, it's really hard because it's such a lovely feeling to know that you are liked by others, you know? But that really did, it really changed the rest of the trip. Thank goodness, that I was able to have that lovely container with you. Um, and yeah, I would love for you to speak on that a little bit more because definitely, I mean, I even noticed myself these thoughts coming up a few weeks ago, Asher, where I was like, yeah, I would love, at some point with the right person to be in relationship and to be in a partnership. But there's fears also of like, I just enjoy things so much. I enjoy, you know, being in charge of my life a lot. I love the idea of um the comfort and the lack of like emotional probing, I guess, that you get whenever, at least in my experience, that when I'm on my own in that sort of partnership realm anyway, I started noticing these fears of, oh God, what if I can't trust myself? What if I lose myself when I do meet even the right person? Like, and I know that that would have a tendency to push that sort of thing away, those fears for people. So yeah, I'd love to hear your take on that.
Thinking, I'm like, as I'm hearing you, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a very strong story you got there.
Yeah.
Like there's an element of just like who says or what is informing you that you would lose yourself in relationship with another? Is it past experience? Is it like romantic comedies? Is it the notion of love that's been promulgated to all of us today? Like you don't have to. If you had a practice of like, hey, am I losing myself right now?
Mm,
That would probably inform whether or not you lose yourself. Like just I don't know who that person is for you or where that person is, but just imagine what it would be like to be in relationship with someone and to be able to have the freedom to savor your own autonomy, like your like ability to not be emotionally probed when you don't want to be and to be so when you want. Like it's
mm,
just a matter of knowing what you want and asking it of the outside world, asking it of the person, the partner around you, or the friends around you, or just the world in general. Like it's some notion that relationship is exclusive of Maria's autonomy. And
Mm-hmm.
it's totally negating the fact that it's very possible that in relationship, you're like, oh my God, I would love to surrender some of my autonomy into this. And people would get into conversations about the divine masculine and the divine feminine. But just
Mm-hmm.
like, there might be a time when you're like, holy shit, I love being held and guided by this masculine form at this
Mm-hmm.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love surrendering my autonomy.
Mm.
But there's some notion that's like, I could give it up. I could lose myself. I could, like, yeah. And I would say the only way, the fear of that does nothing for you.
Yeah.
And the only way to engage with that and to prevent that is to be with it in the moment.
Mm.
Oh my God. Like you did, exactly like you did in El Salvador. I'm having this experience. It feels good. And then I feel with this person one on one, it does not feel good. That's what that is. It is you
Yeah.
engaging with the experience in the present moment. And so the invitation is you get into a beautiful relationship and you're loving it and you notice yourself getting carried away. Or you even set up systems that are like, hey, I know I have a propensity to maybe get carried away with how intense it feels to be liked by someone. So I'm going to check in with myself 3 days into meeting someone. Hey, how's this feeling? Have I surrendered parts of myself I don't want to surrender? Oh, I
Mm.
have. Okay. What do I do now?
Mm-hmm. And does it ever
You
go
know?
does it need to go deeper than that in terms of if you catch it and you notice it? Is it just a case of the awareness is strong enough for you to then make different decision in that moment? Or is it a case of where did this come from? How do we go back? Do I need to, like you're coming from
So
this sort of background anyway?
this is, I mean, one of my greatest teachers is my mom. Like she is a brilliant woman who has done many years of her own work after many years of trauma. And one of the like main foundational pieces of the program I run now, the Life Blueprint System, is awareness, acceptance, action. This
Mm.
like three-step process. So you say, does it go deeper than awareness? Yeah, awareness is the first step. So you
Mm-hmm.
become aware of it. You accept that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm being carried away because someone likes me. And it
Mm.
feels so good. And then don't move from that spot for a minute. Literally bask in it. Literally like savor the like, someone likes me and it feels so good. Like, and then when it's the right time, action. What do I want to do
Mm.
with it?
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if I let this person, I would assert that if you surrender yourself because it feels so good to be liked, it will feel good until it doesn't.
Mm.
And you will probably lose yourself and there will probably be resentment.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a way back from that? Yes. Is it much harder than stopping at the level of awareness, acceptance, and then acting on it preemptively? Much easier. Much,
Yeah.
much easier till you're in a deep, committed relationship with someone and you've already created that pattern of behavior
Yeah.
because it felt so good to be liked. So yeah, I would say do it preemptively if you notice
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, awareness isn't enough. Let me emphasize that.
Mm.
Awareness
Mm-hmm.
isn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
Acceptance is necessary, but action is how you make change.
Yeah. Would you say, well, I mean, I sort of know the answer to this one, but one of the things, Asher, that really stood out to me about you. So whenever I met Asher, and I told this to the girls in our program as well, I was just so awestruck by the lack of like dis is disingenuine a word? But the sort of language that you use, everything that you said, I feel okay, he means that. He's so intentional with what he says. And my question is, would you say in regards to relationships, so let's say you have, I'm sure, experienced many different cultures, how people romantic relationships or outside of romantic relationships too, would you say the big factor then is your ability to brave the honesty with whoever it is?
I mean, Maria, right now you're touching something relatively intense. Just to share, like I was dishonest with myself and with others for a while,
Mm.
and then I promised to never do it again. And that's what brought about the way I am now.
Mm.
And I'm single.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not in a committed relationship right now. And the truth is it shifted relatively recently, but like I really want family. I
Mm-hmm.
want and I want a partner. I want like and the thing that I desire is like very, very high. It is a very high standard. And I'm not talking about high standard of person. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
required, but like the level of trust that I need in my partner.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean trust that they wouldn't betray me. I mean like trust that what they are doing in the world is of equally profound, powerful implementation as what I do.
Yeah.
So if they say, let's do it this way, and I say, let's do it this way, even if I disagree, I'm like, I trust you enough to know
Mm-hmm.
that you have some sound reason for doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I will either like, we can continue to talk, we can compromise, or we can do it your way, and I can trust you so fully.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a partner right now. And that's like, for me to sit here and say that I know what it's like to like, it's a contentious thing because someone could look right back at me and be like, I've been married for 20 years and who are you to tell me what it's like to be with someone relationally? So it's
Mm.
a sticky, and if we could invite someone to this call, I would love it. Like I really love it. But the reason why I think I come off as not disingenuous or totally authentic and aligned is because I am.
Yeah.
And this is where actually your question for like unlocked life, or at least the prompt for living an unlocked life, is so profoundly powerful. And we'll get into it in just a moment, I think. But like, yeah, it's not that life is unlocked in a certain way. It's just it's in alignment. It's attuned
Mm-hmm.
to what's going on in here. And so
Mm-hmm.
everything feels easeful and flow. And like it's just what's happening in here is what's happening out here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just to get real vulnerable real quick about the partner thing, like
Mm.
I wonder. Like I was in a relationship that was not the right fit for me, and I got out of it. It took a while to be totally honest, and then I was honest, and then that relationship ended. And there's been a few relationships since, and I've been like, when it's gotten to the point of deepening, I've been like, I don't think the answer is yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I had to take time, and I was like, the answer is no. And that's scary. That's really scary because I have to ask
Mm-hmm.
myself this principal, powerful question. Am I afraid of commitment on some deep level that I actually haven't explored, and that's why I'm self-sabotaging or saying no? Or am I just way better at listening to myself?
Yeah.
And the answer is no, and I know the answer is no, and I express the answer is no.
Mm-hmm. And did you
And
come
I
to it is the second one, or was it
I
a dance
mean,
between, is it fear or is it,
welcome
yeah,
to life. It's probably some mix of the two.
yeah.
I've talked to my therapist about it. I've talked to coaches about it. I've talked to like, and I talked to myself about it. And yeah, it's some
Mm,
mix of the two somewhere.
mm-hmm.
It's probably some mix of the infinite combination of possibilities that is me.
Mm-hmm.
But I am honest about it.
Yeah.
So I'll be with a person and I'll be like, hey, right now I can say
Yeah.
this, and I can sit with you for the impact. And
Yeah.
I can share with you what it's like for me to feel it, and I can hear what it's like for you to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think? And one of those people, for example, I love tremendously. And she is with another person right now. And I'm not like feeling regret or resentment or fear that like I missed my chance. So it's a probably pretty good indication that it was good listening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I will stay in contact with her and I
Yeah.
will continue to connect with her and I will continue. Yeah. It just won't be romantic
Yeah.
unless it is in years from now. But right now it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
think
yeah,
just what you're
no, no,
saying there
please.
is was the biggest, yeah, the biggest learning curve, I suppose, for me. And I'm still trying to put it into practice, not just in romantic relationship, but in all of relationships. It feels so scary. And I know it depends on your upbringing and what you're used to, but for me, it was like, oh, can I really be this honest with people? And as you say, stay for the impact. So not just say it and run off, say it and really and be with how it affects them without taking it on as well.
That second part is key. I
Yeah.
will say a lot of people, even if they aren't feeling very attuned with themselves or they're living all sorts of lives or like not to pass judgment, but like you're living a life where you you drink a lot of alcohol and you go out and you party all the time looking for something that you're not like you could be living that life and you still feel that impact of, oh, this feels scary, get me away, I don't want to do this. The part, the jump, the leap is when you can stay with that feeling and you can stay present with that person while you're having that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of people are like, I feel scared of this, let me run away, and they run away, or go drink a
Mm-hmm.
lot, or go like do whatever. But when you can be like, wow, I'm really like, I really adore you, I have lots of love for you, like I think I love you, and I feel terrified. What's it like to hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you can go back and forth and back and forth. That's kind of like stage two. Like if we're doing
Yeah.
awareness, acceptance, action, that's like awareness, or that's like acceptance. That's like stage two. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm accepting that this feeling is here. I don't know what the outcome could be. I can't control the outcome,
Yeah.
but I'm accepting that this feeling's here. And then stage three is like, do I want to live with this fear,
Mm-hmm.
digest it, continue to be with it? Are you okay living with this fear,
Mm-hmm.
continuing to digest it with me? Um, and what do we want to do? And I think that's what, some of the healthiest relationships are. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, there's an incredible, I don't even remember where I saw it, but I saw it on Instagram, and they were questions that I'll pose to the couples that I see in couples counseling. And a very famous Instagrammer, far more traction than I have, was posing it. And she said, the questions that I ask my partner at night, we ask ourselves three things. And it's
Mm,
like, this is what keeps the healthiest relationship. And the first one was like, the first question is, do you have any withholds? Is there anything
mm,
that you want to share with me today that you're scared to share?
mm-hmm.
Did something happen today? Did you have a thought? Was there an action? Do you have a feeling that is in the way of us being fully present with
Yeah.
each other?
Yeah.
And I think not just, I think that's great in your romantic partnership, but if you could ask that with anyone, think if you
Yeah.
could relay that emotionally with anyone.
Wow.
Hey, I want to be with you present right now, but I realize I have this judgment of this story. Or like, I want to be very present with you, but I'm really distracted by how beautiful you are.
Yeah.
And I don't need anything to be done with that, but like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Like whatever the withhold is.
Mm. Wow. I mean, immediately I can feel like fear coming up whenever I hear that. And I think for me, let me just plug in this thing here. It's like this, I guess for me, it comes back to this idea of, and I know because I have looked into this idea of rejection after expression. That when I was young, if I was big with emotions or if I wanted to do something my own way, it had to be done a certain way. These were the rules. This is the way things were done in the house. And I know that it was probably programming from my parents, from their parenting and their parenting and their parenting. So I don't blame them. I'm not angry with them, but I just know that um definitely I started to learn how to operate according to what I thought was going to be the right way to do things or what was going to fit into the acceptable and not acceptable. And yeah, I guess what I learned potentially is that expressing whether it's how I felt about someone or what I thought about a situation or what made me upset or angry, my brain was like, nope, because we're going to get told off for that. That's not going to be acceptable. It's better to figure out what that person wants to hear. And so that has been, I suppose, the unlearning was prior to El Salvador, but definitely meeting you, I was like, wow, okay, maybe it's safe to actually express to people. Maybe people won't reject me or get upset or get angry. Um, and I remember Asher, one key moment you, we had done a circling activity, and I remember you came up to me at the end and you were like, I was so angry at you for da, 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 whatever it was. And I remember thinking, okay. And I stayed, and you stayed. Like, yeah, I was so angry with at you for that. And I still love you. And we're still friends. And da 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 da. And it was such a strange moment for me because I had never experienced that in life before of, people expressing and also not attaching the emotion to long-term friendship, long-term relationship, whatever it might have been. I feel like I'm not explaining that very well, but I would love for you to talk on that a little bit.
That makes perfect sense to me. Maria's born, anyone's born, we have two core needs.
Mm,
We have attachment, a need for attachment, and we have a need for authenticity.
Yeah.
How can I just be me? As soon as attachment's at risk, we compromise authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Authenticity we give up before we give up attachment.
Mm-hmm.
So Maria wanting to be authentically Maria, if ever thought that was too big because someone else couldn't handle it, you give that up right away in order
Yeah.
to maintain attachment.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Children are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk about it as like a sympathetic nervous system activation, there's, fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. That's the fawn option. More people fawn than know it. Most people
Yeah.
don't resort to fighting. More people fawn. Like, great. Children are brilliant. I am really curious. I do have a question that like sparked in me that's like, are you not mad at your parents? Like,
Mm.
parents gave
Yeah.
me conditions where I fawned. Are you not mad at them?
Yeah. You're right. Of course I'm mad at them. I wanted to be mad at the time. I suppose that goes somewhere, right? If you don't get to express your anger. I remember feeling so angry so many times and just going straight into shut it down, cry in my room because the anger had no
Now,
place to go.
are you still mad at them?
Um, Sometimes yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you love them?
Yes, dearly.
So you're saying you can be mad and you love them. It's
Yeah.
it's the committedness to staying.
Yeah. Wow.
And the invitation, the difference is the invitation that I offer is what if you stay for all
Mm.
of your relations,
Mm-hmm.
for that friend, for that person who cuts in front of you in line? What if you stay for them? All
Mm-hmm.
of a sudden, if you stay, all of a sudden there's the capacity to be fucking angry at them for cutting you in line
Mm.
and to still genuinely wish them the best.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You
Do
know,
you think?
like, yeah, you give that to your parents. And maybe you're more angry than forgiving today, or, I don't
Yeah.
know. But it's those in balance. And the
Yeah.
only way to maintain both of those is if you stay. What
Yeah.
happens most often is I'm angry and I leave. I'm sad
Yeah.
and I leave. I'm
Yeah.
happy or horny or aroused and then I leave. Like what it
Yeah.
like then you only get these one faceted emotions.
Yeah. And when you say that's how you keep the balance, you mean that's how you keep this balance of feeling authentic and expressing yourself authentically and also the attachment piece. Is that what
Well,
you mean?
that's kind of well, when you talked about earlier, like that's what Maria did as a child. Now Maria is an adult. So if you feel like attachment is at risk if you're going to be authentic,
Yeah.
you have a lot more tools available to you.
Mm,
If you are being honest with someone and you feel like they're not going to like you afterwards, you have a whole lot more tools. You can be authentic with them, you can stay for impact, they can be really mad at you, and you can call another friend, or you can
mm,
call your parent, or you can self-soothe and then co-regulate with someone else. Like
yeah.
those aren't available to you as a kid. As a
Yeah.
kid, you need mom and dad to take care of you. You will be smaller, quieter, more acquiescing, more perfectionistic, whatever it is, in order to keep mom and dad attentive. As an adult, you have other ways to get attachment.
Yeah.
Both of those are still core needs. And so it's the only difference is you have more tools available to you as an adult.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like give in to, you don't have to compromise your authenticity so quickly because there are other
Mm,
ways to get attachment.
hmm hmm So it's when that childhood story comes in of it's this or this. So I need to keep holding on to this person or else, yeah, the survival. Would you say that's right?
This is this is where this is going to be the segue into unlock life. Like
Yeah.
it's just like you said there's that fear of rejection. If I tell this person fully what I'm feeling, I
Mm,
might be rejected. And then what?
yeah.
Like go
We
through
never
it.
let
Like that's
ourselves
it.
think that far. It's just so
Go
terrifying,
through
but
it.
actually, yeah.
Go through it. Like in this moment,
Yeah.
imagine. And I invite everyone out there who's listening, or if anyone's on the live, I
Yeah.
can't see because my phone's facing that way. Imagine having a conversation with someone that you don't want to.
Mm,
Imagine saying the thing to them that you imagine they don't want to hear the very most. And imagine saying it and then staying there and inviting them to share what it's like for them, and then you get to share what it's like for you. And then like
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like in connection, there's you can't be mean to someone.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like sharing what it's like to be you, and they're sharing what it's like to be them.
Yeah.
And like if at the end of that you want to run away together and be in love, great. If at the end of that one of you wants that and the other one doesn't, that might hurt a little bit more. And yet you just think, wow, that hurts a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pain hasn't killed most people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
fear of it, really, isn't it? What holds people back?
And that so often you express and then you run away. And
Mm-hmm.
that will kill people.
Mm.
You'll have anger, sadness, resentment, pain that is just like it's fed when you're alone. It's
Yeah.
fed when you take it away or you talk about someone behind their back without telling them what you're experiencing. Like it
Yeah.
just feeds that pain
Yeah.
instead of it being expressed and then digested
Mm.
interpersonally,
Mm-hmm.
like with the other person.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Like,
It's so simple when you break it down like that. Share, stay, and then receive what their sharing is and stay. And let them know how that makes you feel. Share again and stay. Yeah.
and go take care of yourselves too. You know, you might have a really intense conversation with
Mm.
someone and be like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that was really intense. I need to go for a walk in the woods. Is there anything else that you need to share?
Mm.
Got it. Okay, I'm gonna go for a walk in the woods. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Like we'll get back. We'll talk again in an hour or 2 hours or 2 days or whatever it is. Like you can. There's also like in my authentic relating in the events that I facilitate, sometimes people are just like, "What's it like to be you? What's it like we need our space too. Like you get to be like."
Uh,
It's just like asking for that withhold. Is there anything
yeah.
left? So at the end of most of my, you've experienced it at the end of
Yeah.
most of my events, whether it's dancing or authentic relating or deep circling, like whatever it is, I'll ask like, is there anything that's left unsaid?
Mm-hmm.
And if there's not, it's like asking for that withhold. Those are the things that tear us up because that's
Mm.
compromising our authenticity.
Yeah.
That's like a moment where authenticity is compromised is the moment where you start to
Mm-hmm.
pay with your
Mm-hmm.
vitality, pay with
Mm-hmm.
your life, pay with your,
Mm.
like it's okay to take time to yourself. Like it's
Yeah.
just, are you taking time to yourself so you can hide shit?
Yeah.
Or are you taking time to yourself so you can like allow it to process and move? And like it's really intense to communicate with people like this.
Mm. Yeah. Oh my God, it is. I remember, I mean, we did the circling activity and I remember feeling exhausted after it. And I imagine it gets less tiring, does it, Asher, with practice? But that first circle for me of like, okay, we're all just going to be really friggin' honest with each other and see what happens was like, it took, as you say, like that vital energy. It took a lot of vital energy, probably to change a pattern for me. Um, do you find it gets easier? Sorry, before you answer, I also remember Alana, one of the girls, one of the lovely people in our house, how she noticed, she was like, we're all speaking differently now. And that was after maybe our second circle, where I just noticed we were all getting into the rhythm and the pattern of being a lot more honest and authentic and open with each other just in the house. So, yeah, do you feel like this is a skill? Does it get easier to be this honest with our words, with
It's
practice?
faster. It gets
Yeah.
faster. Like you get quicker at it. You get quicker at slowing down.
Let me get my head around that one.
And the adjective I'd almost use is it gets louder
Mm,
when you're lying
yeah.
or when you're not being authentic. Like that's what happens. Like you'd be like, oh shit, it's an abundantly clear to me that what I'm thinking is this.
Yeah.
Am I going to say it or not say it? It's up to you each and every
Yeah.
time. But it gets
Hmm.
louder in your own head,
Hmm.
you know? Like
Yeah.
I yeah. I've gone to get coffee with someone who I don't want to get coffee with.
Mm.
And it was clear to me what I was doing, you know? Like I made a choice and I know why I made that choice, and that choice feels
Yeah.
clear to me, and I don't have resentment, I don't have anger about it. It actually, yeah, I chose to compromise this portion of my expression to have attachment with this person.
I hear you. So we can hear. the authentic desire of, I don't want to go for coffee with this person, or I really do want to go for coffee with this person. And then we have choice. Then it's the action piece.
What I really want from an intentional place is attachment and connection with this person.
Yeah.
And the way that that's sought after in this moment is not the way I would choose to do it, but is by, in this case, it's for me, it's like having small talk. This person like desires small talk and like wants regular conversations about what I'm doing in my life,
Mhm.
like rather than the deep types of conversations that I'm accustomed to having. But because I
Yeah.
desire attachment with this person in my life, like I make that choice.
Yeah.
It doesn't keep me up at night.
Because you've
Used to,
intentionally chose it.
right. I had
Yeah.
insomnia for 2 years while I was being dishonest with myself and with others.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I knew why, because I knew the answer. The answer was loud and clear in my head
Yeah.
that I don't want to be here.
Wow.
This isn't the right fit.
Yeah, I'd love for you to move into that unlocked life piece that you felt called to.
Yeah. When you sent me that question preemptively, you're just like, and I was like, oh my God, Maria's onto something. I love the framing. I love and I work with a lot of high performers, a lot of high achievers, a lot of people who are like, unlock your first 10K this month
Mm,
type. And I have powerful conversations with them where I'm like, why? And they're like, what do you mean? Your first 10K? And I'm like, yeah, why? Like, why do you
hmm.
want that? And when I hear unlocked life, there's like almost two ways that I think of it at first. One of them is like high performers, unlock your first 10K, like live your dream life, like be on a yacht.
Yeah.
And that's great. And the other one, the one that I feel I live, is it's not that I have unlocked wild secrets. There just is no longer obstacle or blockage between
Mm,
my inner being
hmm.
and the way I am outside.
Mm,
Like I have not overcome jealousy, pettiness, loneliness, desire. Like those are all there. But I feel them. I let them be there fully. I don't blame anyone else for them. And so I don't feel there's not friction
yeah.
in me. There's
Yeah.
like, I might be standing, if you ever want to see something silly, you should see me at a bar. I don't really drink and I go to bars when friends want to go to bars and I say yes, which is not very often. But when I go, I basically just kind of like stand there and I'm like,
In uniform,
I'm just kind of like
observing.
sitting around. I'm mostly content. And then someone might talk to me and I'll be like, how are you? And like they'll give me some quick answer and I'll be like, oh, that answer sounds kind of dissatisfying. Like, what else is like what's exciting for you? Like what like I want like something to grab
Tell
onto to like be
me.
with this person.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen and I'm just like, okay. Uh and yeah, it's because I have nothing to fake. I have nothing to be like, and someone will be like, how are you? And I'll be like, well, I'm relatively bored and I don't know how to have any conversation with anyone here. And I feel a little lonely. Like I see all these people having really what looks like engaged conversation. I have judgment, I have a story about their conversation, and I want it. And people will just be like, okay, I'm gonna walk over here and
Yeah.
talk about sports or like, something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the unlocked life for me is just being fully expressed with what you're experiencing, being in connection with that, and then translating that to the outside world to ask for it. So it's if you want
Mm,
attachment, it's asking for attachment.
mm,
If you want connection, if you want honesty, it's asking for it. That's what the
yeah.
key is in my mind, the unlocking.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I have a thought on that, right? So immediately when you said that, and what really comes up for me is the attachment. I think that that's, as I say, I really enjoy my life at the minute. I feel like I'm living my unlocked life, and I know it's going to continue to unlock further. And at the same time, I often think, gosh, life is so good. And I feel a yearning in me to experience this with someone else. I would love to have that paired experience of life, of activities, of travel, of this, of that, of the other. And so, yeah, it's ultimately a feeling of attachment. I would love to feel that in a healthy way. And when you said, what it is that you want, attachment, connection, adventure, whatever it might be, can we actually ask, feel it and ask for it? And my mind immediately went to, no, 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 we can't ask for attachment because I'm meant to feel fully whole on my own first. Because if I'm not, then I'm needy, or then it's like I'm seeking it too much from someone else. That's probably the same story as came up before of then being afraid to like be honest about that desire to be attached to someone, to be connected to someone. So I'd love for you to speak on that whole be whole, don't seek it outside of other people, but also you're saying ask the world for what you want.
There's a way to perceive it as an obstacle and opportunity.
Mm,
I want I want connection can either be I don't have connection, or it can be like I'm open, like I'm looking for it. I'd like it. So there's like one where it's like an obstacle or an opportunity, and that's literally just a perceptual shift. You get to choose the one that you want. The other thing is don't push away the sadness if it's there. Like this is the thing about staying, being remaining present for whatever it is. If you want something and you ask for it and it doesn't come there, it doesn't arrive, you can be sad, be with that. You can be wanting, be with that. Like just be with each feeling as it's coming.
mm,
The other thing is, yeah, the first step is slow down. Second step is ask yourself what you're experiencing. Is it coming out of need? And if it's coming out of need, what's that like? And
mm,
often if you sit with need, you're like, oh shit, I'm probably really afraid. What am
mm-hmm,
I afraid of? And so it's kind of like share with the deepest cut. You know, I think when it feels off balance is when someone's like, they're pretending that they're all good, but I'm just looking for partnership and I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. And I'm all good. Like I'm great on my own, blah, 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 blah. What's beneath that? Well, maybe there's a degree of urgency that you can feel. Okay, great. So if you're gonna share about like don't share about the urgency yet, go one deeper. What's beneath that? Oh, fear. What's beneath that? Oh, sad.
mm,
So maybe share, how are you doing? Well, I notice I feel pretty sad that I don't have a partner at the moment. It's like when you share at the deepest cut, you can share it with groundedness.
mm,
The thing that comes off really loud to me is when someone is sharing as if everything's great, and right beneath that, you can hear the need and the urgency.
yeah,
Sharing with urgency, sharing with that neediness is not appealing. It's not attractive. Sharing what is happening for you without the need for someone to fix it,
mm,
simply
mm-hmm,
to be heard, I find incredibly attractive. And I don't necessarily
mm,
mean sexually attractive. I just mean like appealing in a
yeah,
humanistic way.
yeah,
If someone comes up to me and they're like, man, I feel sad and I feel afraid that I may not ever have the deep partnership that I desire,
mm-hmm,
I get to be like, what's that like? Like, I really hear you.
yeah,
And if versus someone comes up to me and they're like, I'm doing great, I'm just looking for that perfect divine feminine to walk into my life tomorrow. Like, and then they're, at home on dating apps, scrolling, looking
mm,
for if you're looking for the divine feminine on Bumble or Tinder nonstop, it's probably the wrong energy.
mm-hmm,
Like, one of them is feigning, it's masking what's there, and therefore allowing whatever's just beneath the surface to just boil.
yeah,
Imagine if you have a pot boiling. If you leave the pot on, it like starts to lift the lid. If you have rice boiling, you
yeah,
leave the lid on.
the
Well, no,
foam.
everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Ugh. But if you take the pot off, you take the lid off,
Yeah, see
what's
what's
there? Oh,
there. Yeah.
there's sadness and there's fear. And there's like,
Mm,
yeah, I mean, I like my fear feels very, very direct. I like have a desire for partnership with a very high standard. And I am scared that I will die alone without finding that. That fear is like
mm,
there and it gets to be there and I get to be like, yeah, no, I feel afraid. That's still what I choose. I choose to not compromise. Yeah, that's still what I'm choosing. To
yeah.
maintain that high
Yeah.
standard, to look for that person that
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and
My
maybe one
fear.
day that would change. I don't know.
What I can hear is that whenever we don't allow ourselves to really dig into, I love that. Like it's so grounded because there's nothing beneath it. There's nothing hiding that. It is the core of all of the masks that we layer on top. And
Just like, did I exert anything on you when I said, Maria, I experienced a lot of anger when you did that thing, and I love you unconditionally. Or I didn't even have to say the love part. When I
mm,
just express, I'm experiencing anger,
yeah.
there's nothing beneath it. There's not a need for you to do anything about it. There's not a need for you to fix it. There's not an expectation that you will. There's an expression of who I am, of what I'm
Hmm.
experiencing. It
Hmm.
doesn't come with hooks. The hooks are what we feel from people. When
Yeah.
someone says something to you with that urgency or that need, and it's because the hook just comes when there's a
Hmm.
covert need, when there's something beneath
Yeah.
the surface. When there's nothing beneath it. There's no hooks.
When we don't get their like ground level emotion of why it's here,
Mhm.
the very, very bottom floor, whenever we don't get an insight into that, that's what leads to the confusion and the push and the pull and yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Oh, is there anything that you would love to expand on in terms of, I guess, this idea again of your unlocked life, Asher, in terms of your journey of how this unlocked life has come to be now, what that looks like for you now, you know?
One of the things that I keep thinking about that is as soon as you sent me the question this morning is just like,
Hmm.
how do I express what I'm experiencing without attachment to how someone will receive it?
Yeah.
The first step, like I just want to emphasize this a lot, is the first step is be with yourself and get really, really clear on what you're experiencing. Otherwise, it comes out all messy. So get clear with yourself.
Yeah.
Then, like, it's almost like this, like, hold, like, no, you got you. Like, I got me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I get to tell you, and then I wait, and I just get to see what it's like to be you. And then it's all about your experience of it. So it's like, if I need you to ground me, or if I need something from you, then of course I'm going to be terrified of how you respond. If
Yeah.
my identity is dependent on how you perceive me, of course I'm going to be terrified sharing anything with you.
Yeah.
But if my identity is defined by how I perceive me, and then I get to tell you what it's like to be me, and you get
Mm-hmm.
to tell me what it's like to be you, then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden there's like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening is happening between us, not about what Maria is saying or about what Ash is saying or like. So I'm just really like, really thinking about this, like, yeah, be clear about what's happening in you.
Yeah. That's what feels that's what it feels like it relates or what leads to that unlocking, that fluidity, that flow that you talked about is how close can you get to yourself? And from that place, brave to actually
Share with
express that.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
And
terms,
slow down, slow down.
yeah,
Everyone, slow down. Every
yeah.
single person out there, slow down.
Well, my final question, Asher, is in terms of practical tips for people who are listening who've never done the circle, who've never been in your space, who this is all new and frightening for, when you say be with yourself, get to know how you feel, practically, what does that look like? Does it mean being alone more? Does it mean like writing, journaling, go for walks, or like practically what can people do to start getting into this idea?
Slow down.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Step one, someone says something to you, take 3 breaths before
Mm,
answering. And it might look weird in that moment, but it will be that practice is worth it. So
yeah.
someone says something to you, imagine instead of it hitting you here,
Hmm.
let it hit you here and say, oh, they just said a thing. How do I feel about that? Oh
So
my God, I
anybody
feel
that's
really angry about
listening,
it.
explain that for people who can't see this visual right now.
Got it. If you're just listening, when you're in a contentious conversation or difficult conversation, often someone says something and we allow it to hit us on the chest. We allow us to hit us directly on the
Mm,
body and guide us. Oh, they're upset. I should respond this way. Oh, they need something of me. Let me respond this way. Instead, imagine that there's a bubble, maybe 8 inches in front of you. And imagine that what they're sharing lands on the bubble and you get to read it. from there.
I love
So
that.
if you're having an intense conversation with a partner and they're asking you, are you ready to have kids? Instead of it hitting you on the chest and say, what do they want? How do they want me to
Yeah.
answer? How can I look good? How can I answer right
Mm-hmm.
for them?
Mm-hmm.
Land on the bubble, read it. Am I ready to have kids?
And that's
Wow.
when you take the time, the breath.
When I read that on my bubble, I notice I feel nervous,
Yeah.
feel warmth and love for this person, or I feel total coldness and I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to answer the person and I want to run away.
Mm-hmm.
So notice what you feel and then respond slowly or ask for more space and time.
Yeah.
If a partner asks you if you're ready to have kids and your answer is, "Oh my God, I'm terrified of that and I don't feel warmth to this person and I don't feel open to this person," I invite you to ask for more time to answer that question and maybe
Mm.
investigate your relationship.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel fear, but if you feel coldness towards that person, there
Yeah.
might be something deeper there to explore.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll say, so I said slow down,
Mm-hmm.
take a moment before responding. Like imagine this bubble imagery works amazingly. And I also just want to emphasize this, like you get to like you hmm, create the space for whatever the answer is. We all have the voices that talk to us when something happens. If someone comes up and rests their hand on your shoulder, we all have the fundamental, the base, the crude, the direct, the raw response that says, get closer to me, get further away.
Mm. Yeah.
If right now people are listening to my voice over this podcast or seeing my face, and there are probably some people out there that are like, I like him. And there are probably people out there that's like, shut the fuck up. And
And they
listen to
can't
them.
help it because that is as you say, the raw
Because
data.
that is the thing responding. And that doesn't mean act from that place, but it does mean listen. So again,
Yeah.
this is where the slowing down comes from. All the slowing down comes into play as well. Notice what you're experiencing with me. Trust your sensations and reveal them to me. Or if you don't know me or you don't want to, that's fine, but trust in them and then review them. When Ashur was talking, I wanted him to get away from me. What is that?
Mm.
Do I not trust him? Am I
Mm-hmm.
nervous around him? Like what is the thing that happened? And this is a careful thing. Don't get too in your head. Don't get too analytical about what does that thing
Yeah.
mean. But
Yeah.
trust that that's pointing at something.
Yeah.
It might point that you have something to share with me that would feel really, really good. Or it
Yeah.
might trust that you literally just don't want to be around me. It
Yeah.
might point to not wanting to be around me. But like, trust it. So I'll sum all that up because that was a lot.
Yeah, please.
Number one, slow down. Slow down in every way. Slow down to listen to yourself. Slow down to truly listen to others. Number two, try the bubble imagery. If you're in
Mm.
a contentious conversation, if you're having an intense interaction, imagine that what someone says to you lands on a bubble in front of you, maybe 8 to 12 inches in front of you. And from there, you can review it, read it, notice how you feel, and express from that place.
Yeah.
And number three, notice your sensations and trust that they are sound indicators.
Yeah.
You don't need to act from that place, but just notice that being around someone, you notice to be with them, you want to be with them more, you want to be with them less. You trust them, you don't trust them.
Mm.
You want to be closer, you want to be further away.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that and trust that it is a sound indicator. That is your body communicating to you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't
I
act
think
from that place necessarily because, that can be encoded. You might see my face and it reminds you of a previous partner and you
yeah.
might have this triggered response. But
Yeah.
notice, wow, okay, there's something undigested about that partner or like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely that last part about trusting it. I think we all feel it, the pull or the push around people. And I know, yeah, definitely my own experience of being so in my mind about it, trying to understand, oh, well, maybe I'm just this. Maybe I'm just, the not trusting my body. And yeah, as you say, not to make any hasty decisions around that because it could be unrelated to that person, but just giving it the attention that it's asking for and acknowledging it. I think it's so cool.
And especially just to identify, especially for women in romantic settings, like
Mm,
bars or whatever, if someone's talking to you and you're not interested, instead of like getting all nervous and saying it's not, I mean, I don't want to overwrite implications for potential safety for in women's bodies, for rejecting a man. But notice, the answer is no with this person. I don't know why. They're good looking. They said the right things, but the answer is no. Trust that.
yeah.
Trust that the answer is no with good reason.
Yeah.
And you can enforce that no from that grounded place by sharing your ground level experience.
Mm, mm-hmm.
You know, instead of being like, no, get away from me. Like instead of needing to use anger or force to
Yeah.
exert that boundary, you can just be like, huh, no, the answer is no.
Yeah.
It feels no because I don't want to go somewhere alone with you. Or I don't
Mm.
want to, or whatever the no is.
A little mini
Number
question.
four,
Oh,
just the fourth opportunity,
yeah.
call me and let's chat.
Well, that sort of links into what I was just about to ask. Do you feel, Asher, that there are many people in your world, in your community, that have also really nailed this four-step, three-step process? Or do you feel like you are sort of leading the way on your own? And, like I'm just curious if this is normal in your life. Because I know it's not normal around here where I'm from anyway. I would love for it to get more normal, and it definitely is. But in your world, your
I am
community.
definitely not the only one. I demand very high standards of the people in my life.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of people in my life who can hold that space. And by hold that space, I mean literally if they ask me something and I'm like, hold on. Oh, I noticed your question really put me on edge. And I noticed I'm sweating more. And I noticed like, um, yeah, I think I need a minute to answer your question. They'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
But that's because I've demanded that.
Yeah.
There are definitely people who are far ahead of me too, who I learn from.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I really want to answer in your question is you said it's not the norm in your world. You can make it the norm,
Yeah.
at least in your world, by demanding it of people around you.
So how I act, how I use those steps will always
Totally.
impact the people that are on the receiving end.
Even just here's an exercise for everyone, an additional exercise. You're walking with someone, or you're standing in your kitchen chatting. You're chatting about whatever. And you notice they say something or you say something, and you notice that something shifts. Maybe they take too long to answer, maybe they hesitate, maybe there's just a shift in the cadence. This happens all the time, and we ignore it.
Mm,
And what if, here's a challenge, what if this time you just say, hey, I noticed something felt a little bit different there. What happened?
yeah.
And
What if,
open the space for what happened.
and if
What
you're
if?
met with nothing, the answer is nothing. They don't want to meet
Huh,
you there with that sort of like, let's talk about it, or how do you respond
great.
to that?
Let's try it. Let's try it. Hey, Maria, I noticed something shifted in the conversation there. What happened for you?
Uh, Nothing. I don't know what you mean.
Huh. Interesting. For me, we were talking, and then all of a sudden I noticed it seemed like there was a delay, and I noticed that my body kind of twitched, and I noticed that it just felt like the energy shifted. Like maybe there was less excitement about being here. Does that feel at all resonant to you? Did that happen for you at all?
Hmm. Maybe a wee bit, but doesn't it's grand. It doesn't. Yeah.
People look for the big, I mean, and maybe nothing happened. I mean, having that conversation might shift the energy,
Yeah. Yeah, I can
but
even
it's
see, even you asking the second time round, it's like there's a softness there of, oh, maybe I could acknowledge this a little bit, maybe a little bit more, and see where the
or
conversation
even
goes.
just being, even if they say nothing, again, just being invited to pause and ask what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, think how rare it is to have a moment of self-reflection, period.
Mm,
Anytime. Think of
hmm
your day today. It's what,
hmm
4 p.m. for you in Ireland. It's 9 a.m. for me, so it's morning for me. But Arrive at the end of your day. Anyone who's listening to this, another exercise for you. Arrive at the end of your day and simply reflect, how many times today did I reflect simply on what it was like to be me in a moment? And the answer is often zero. Zero moments spent noticing what it's like to be me in this moment. By asking someone what happened for them, you are inviting that moment in for someone. And for some people, it might have been 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years since they had a moment of self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the question, I'll repeat it, say it again. What is it like to be me? Or I could ask you, what is it like to be Maria
Mm.
right now? Just
Wow.
inviting in that self-reflection for yourself or others
Yeah.
is like, even if they say nothing, I don't know, it's fine. Ask again.
Yeah.
Hmm, what's fine like?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you mean? You're being weird. Okay. I can tell you what it's like to be me. Blah,
Mm.
blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And then go on with the conversation. Do whatever you need to do, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But offer the opportunity is what you're saying.
Hmm.
Great. Class.
You
I
might
feel,
lose friends though. People might get upset with
yeah,
you.
yeah, I can
Asking too many
imagine that
deep
as
questions.
well. Mm. Yeah.
And then, I'll say one more thing because it just occurs to me right now. I'm doing a tremendous amount of outreach right now for the Life Blueprint system. And I am sending messages to people who I went to high school with. I'm 35. I'm looking to get more traction on the social media side. And so I'm asking them to follow me on social media. And I'm asking them to share about what's going on with them. There are so many stories about what it means to reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in 20 years because
Mm-hmm.
of how they might feel about being reached out to.
Yeah.
I don't have those stories. It's
No.
not a problem for me to reach out to someone after 20 years and say, hey, it's been 20 years. How's your life? I'd love for you to follow me on social media. How does it feel? And some people have responded like, we haven't spoken in 20 years. And I'm like, that's true. What's it like?
Yeah. Just opening it up
It,
again.
right. And if they're upset with that, then I can actually genuinely get curious about, yeah, what's that like? What are you upset about? If, I'll ask, like, did you want to talk to me in the last 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
If you did, why didn't you call?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll often get a response that's like, well, no, but you didn't want to talk to me. And I'm like, yeah, no, it didn't really occur to me. And now it
Yeah.
occurs to me to talk to you for this. And if that's upsetting to you, or like, you don't need to follow me, you don't need to do any of the things, like, but it gives all of a sudden this rare moment for actually,
Yeah.
oh, you feel real hurt because you feel like I'm only reaching out to you when I need something from you. That seems to be the case at the moment. Let's explore that hurt genuinely in this
Mm-hmm.
moment. Don't follow me. Don't do any of the things. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
What's it? And all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, this hurt feels really big." And it's not about you. If it was
Yeah.
about me, they would have called me 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is all just sharing how things are for you, what you're feeling in the moment on from that grind level or that base level without fear of how it's going to be received.
The program I'm in now, they use the language of the deepest cut. Share from
Yeah.
the deepest cut.
Okay. Mm,
Like that language, just like
yeah.
because you can feel it. If
You
you
can
if
feel
you
how
say I'm
tender it
angry,
is. Yeah.
and then you go just below that, and they're like, "What's beneath the anger?" And you're like, "Oh, I feel afraid." Okay, is there anything beneath the fear? Like, there's often sadness beneath the
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you so much. I would love for you
Thank you.
to tell a little bit on the blueprint before we finish up as well.
Yeah. I feel so excited to be offering this. I work as a connection coach, one-on-one with individuals and couples, and I facilitate in groups. So I do the embodiment workshop and I do the
Yeah.
authentic relating. So if you have a retreat, if you have an event, and you're looking for a facilitator, I'd love to be in touch. But now I'm really excited on the group side to be able to offer the Life Blueprint system. So it's a group accountability program. We ask you what it is that you want. I want to use this language of unlocked life. It's so
Mm.
good. We ask you, what is your unlocked life? Then I sit with you in the intense portion, the portion where it's like, what is my unlocked life?
Yeah.
We get you clear. Then we give you community support with 3 coaching calls each week. And then we help you take proper action. What is the thing
Mm,
I need to do to move me closer to that? And then we hold you accountable. So
mhm.
each week we have 3 calls. It begins with a foundation call, this really powerful 2 hour container where we get you really clear on what you want in your life. Right now we have a 7 day free trial and we have a challenge coming up pretty soon. It'll be on my Instagram, probably mid-June, and it'll come with a 7 day free trial. So in that one week, we ask you, what do you desire most? And we guarantee you to get there by the end of the week, or we continue to work with you for free.
Okay. Awesome.
But yeah, the Life Blueprint System
Love it.
on
Yeah.
Instagram,
So
all
as
the
you
things.
say, the unlocked life, it's so similar to that concept of it's possible, the vision and what's holding you back. Asher, thank you so much. I've loved that. Any final words, Asher?
I just have to say, Maria, you are a delight. Like I adore having met you, and like again, the willingness to step up and be with what you were experiencing it and express it was like more ferocious,
Yeah.
more present, more like forceful. Not in a bad way. There was just like energy behind it
Yeah.
than most people I work with. Most people I
Yeah.
work with take coaxing, especially like, women and men express very differently. Um, women are typically more in touch with what they're feeling, but much
Mm-hmm.
softer.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really takes like it's really kind of like a coaxing, like, no, it's safe, no, it's safe,
Yeah.
no, it's you. I like said, here's the invitation, and you were like, boom, blah,
Ah,
blah, 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 blah. And I was like,
yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
powerful. It's just been
Yeah.
a delight to work with you and to see you, to work for you, to work with you, to like a real delight.
Thank you. Oh, likewise. Likewise. I'm so glad that we met and that, yeah, you've been able to give so much value to people who are listening to this episode. And hopefully you've got loads from it. I'm gonna link everything under the show notes about Asher, about how to connect with him, about, of course, the mastermind that I'm running too for women who are looking for a smaller space, I would say, to move through, very similar to what Asher's talking about, that authentic expression and the fears and the blocks. But for now, thank you for listening, and we'll chat to you very soon.